Am I audible? Hello friends. Today we are going to discuss about the TYBCom semester 5, our financial accounting. In our financial accounting, we have a one module that is accounting for limited liability partnership firm. This particular module, last two videos, we discussed about the introduction part. Now, today we are going to learn some practical mode. Under practical mode, we will discuss about the some practical problems with whatever I have provided as a PDF to you. In that particular PDF, some questions are there that we are going to discuss. So before discussing the practical problems, we will introduce balance sheet to you because this particular act, Accounting for Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008, they have a separate balance sheet. And this particular balance sheet we have to learn. In last semesters, we studied the accounting for final account of companies. The company final account have their own balance sheet, own revenue statement. Same way, under limited liability partnership form has their own balance sheet, and I will share this particular balance sheet. I already share in a WhatsApp group, but we will discuss this particular balance sheet right now. So let us discuss the balance sheet part. Now, if you see this particular screen, we have a balance sheet, and this particular balance sheet, if you see that, it is a part B under the LLP Act. Under LLP Act, balance sheet is mentioned under Part B. And this particular balance sheet is known as a statement of assets and liabilities. Statement of assets and liabilities of dash. Dash means particular companies, LLPs, forms, name that we have to mention. As Act. Now, period also we have to mention. You know that the 12 months period it start from April to 31st March. And we have to write this particular balance sheet in rupees, sometime in thousands, in crores, whatever mentioned in millions also. So that we have to put. Then if you see that right hand side, two columns are there. And these two columns, if you see that these particular two columns, first column belong to figures as at the end of the current reporting period. And second column belonging to figures as at the end of the previous reporting period. It means we have to mention the figures of the last years and current year. Now, friends, whenever we will frame the questions for TYBCom students, we will ask only current year period figures. We will not ask previous year's figures. That's why we have to draw only one column. We will not draw for previous year column. Now under particulars, now if you see that it start from number one, that is contribution. Number one, contribution and liabilities. And number two belong to assets. So the balance sheet, it is a statement of assets and liabilities. It is divided into two parts, that is contribution and liabilities and assets. Same way we studied in the company's balance sheet also. So here it is considered as a contribution and liabilities. Now fund. Partners fund means partners are contributed certain amount of capital. It is called as a contribution. Whatever contribution received from partners that we have to mention. Reserves and surplus, if it is there, it will be comes from the profits, surplus or profit or loss during the year that we have to mention. You know that the liability side we have mentioned the profit, and here losses also we have to mention because it is a vertical form. Now, second sub part is liabilities. First is partners fund. Second part is liabilities. Under liabilities include, if you see that total six items are there. Secured loans, loan secured against the secured against the any particular fixed asset. Loan secured against the any particular fixed asset. Unsecured loan, short-term borrowings. The borrowing within the 12 months, it is called short-term borrowing. Creditors, trade payable. Trade payable means bills payable. Sometimes advances from the customers and other liabilities specified. And the provisions. Provisions includes provision for taxation, sometimes provision for contingency, sometimes provision for insurance and other provisions. Contingency may be there, may not be there. That we will discuss in our problems. And then total we have to find out. After that, part 2 of the balance sheet, that is belong to assets. Assets includes, there are total, if you see that 7 items are there. It includes gross fixed asset, investment, loans and advances, inventories, debtors and trade receivable, cash and cash equivalent, and current other current assets. Now, gross fixed asset include tangible assets and intangible assets. Both the assets we have to write, and we will deduct the depreciation and amortization from these assets. Then investments are there, long term, short term investments we have to record. Some inventory part is there, inventory. It may be closing inventory we have to write. Debtors we have to mention, trade receivable means a bill receivable, cash and cash balances, cash in hand, cash at bank. Also we have to write. So these are particular specific balance sheet we have to write. Here note is there, contingent liability not provided for. Sometimes it may not provided or no, don't write. The disclosure under the provision of the section 22 of the Micro Small Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006 may be added and attested to this form. Sometimes MSMSE, this particular Organization Development Act, whatever provisions they are provided, that also we have to disclose. And any other disclosure of the LLP we have to properly disclose. And then we have to mention the designated partner of the LLP's signature. So these are the things are there, but generally you should understand the balance sheet in a vertical form. And yesterday I already informed that you have to write the balance sheet in your notebook. It will be useful whenever we have to start our problems. So I hope you understood. Now we will move further and we will discuss about the statement of the income and expenditure. Income and expenditure just like a profit and loss account, but it is in vertical form. Income we have to mention on top, gross turnover, turnover means sales, and we have to deduct the excise duty and service tax. In our problem, so whatever amount is there regarding the sales, regarding excise duty, that we have to mention. Then after deducting the excise duty, you will get the net turnover. Then after that, if you see that the domestic turnover and export turnover, both the items are there. Domestic turnover means the domestic sale. Domestic turnover means domestic sale. Domestic means within the country, within India. Export sale are there. Export means we have to sold the goods to outside country. So these are the things that we have to mention. Sometimes manufacture goods sale, traded goods sales, and service supply goods sale, that we have to mention as per the domestic and export turnover wise. Then other income, if it is there, that we have to mention. Other income is interest, interest on saving bank account, interest on FD, interest on fixed deposit, interest on securities, then interest on debentures, some dividend from Indian company, dividend from foreign company, winning from lotteries. These are the certain house property income. These are the incomes. If it is there in other, we have to mention, we have to specify under other income. Then stock, sometime raw material, working progress and finished goods. Raw material, working progress and finished goods. These three items has their stock. Closing stock of raw material, closing stock of WIP, opening stock, closing stock of finished goods. This sometime it may be increase or decrease. This particular value we have to mention here. The total amount A, B, and C. This total is called as a total income. The income part is over. Now number two part, expenses. Under expenses, there are so many expenses are there. See the list: raw material consumed, purchase made by for resale, consumable of stores and spare parts, power and fuels, personal expenses, administrative expenses, payment to auditor, selling expenses, insurance expenses, depreciation and amortization, interest and other expenses. These are the items. If it is there in our problem, such items we have to mention and we have to prepare our this revenue statement, that is the income and expenditure statement. This total we have to put as a total expenditure. So total income minus total expenses, you will get the net profit, sometime net loss before tax. After getting the net profit or net loss, we have to deduct provision for taxation. We have to deduct from the net profit provision for taxation. Then you will get profit after tax. Whatever profit we received, it will be transferred to the partner's capital account, and some profit we will share to the reserves and surplus. So these are particular vertical form of income state and expenditure statement. You have to understand, you should write, and you have to follow for whenever we have to solve the problem of the accounting for limited liability partnership firm. So I hope you understood basic things regarding the this particular statements. Okay, so we will discuss further in our next lecture regarding practical problem. So you have to study properly, understand the balance sheet, understand the income and revenue statement. It will be used whenever we have to solve our problem. So basic things we studied. Next video, we will discuss about the practical problem.